Wyverns and Weirdos, Fathomless D&D Podcast set in the World of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Mitch playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Jake playing the Fishman, Joe playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Laura playing 𝗔𝗦𝗧, Zoe playing and Eddie playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Let's jump into it. Where we last left off, one by one, the party were brought out of their green states, chronal slippages, whatever you want to call it, and brought back onto the Polaris in the present. And a lot of chaos ensued as Psyche is somewhat trapped behind this personality of the siren, who 𝗔𝗦𝗧 attempted to hold back, shall we say, for a bit, and Fishman and 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 had a bit of an incident, and 𝗔𝗦𝗧 was kind of just emerging out, while 𝗖𝗦𝗧 kind of is sort of stuck between times at the moment. So we have four threads that we have player characters in. So let's see. I'm going to roll a d4 to determine who's going to go first. So I cannot see the number, but just based on things. So 1 would be 𝗖𝗧, 2 would be Fishman and 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, 3 would be 𝗔𝗦𝗧 and Lauren, and 4 would be 𝗖𝗦𝗧. So, what is that number? 3. So, 𝗔𝗦𝗧, the siren, I believe, has just been bitten by you and run off? Am I remembering that correct? Well, I'm conflating different plot points here.
You're conflating. So yeah,
Okay.
𝗔𝗧 bit the little brain spider off of Loren's shoulder and accidentally clipped her with his big sharky teeth as he went to Monch Town.
So I believe the siren just recently also threatened 𝗔𝗦𝗧. So he's again going to bare his teeth at. He's again going to bare his teeth at her and flex his muscles. And he won't even say anything this time. He'll just growl. And he's going to continue to try and grapple her. And so I'll do a strength check.
And that's opposed by me.
And just to peel behind the curtain, we redid initiative for this session as well. So I got a nat 20. So I can do that with advantage, Darby.
Yes.
Cool, because I rolled a 2. So the next one is a 15. So that's a little bit better. So that's...
And this is my acrobatics DM.
Yes. I believe as the second party, you get the choice of acrobatics or athletics.
Well, I'm going to choose acrobatics. She's trying to twist and contort her way out of his grip.
And the number to beat is a raw 20.
Okay, so we're looking at a smooth 8.
All right, so he almost bears down on her, and after, I believe the last thing he did was he bit the creature, basically ripped it off her, and threw it up in the air and swallowed it. And then he just, without even blinking, just bears down on her, and sort of has her horrible sort of long clawed fingers sort of flexing as he grabs her wrists and just sort of holds her in place. Go back. We have other things at stake here. Cooperate or go back.
Do we? Now. So as if we, in this moment, as you're pinning her down, if we zoom into Loren's mind trapped behind this glass, there is a 13-year-old version of herself watching this happen. And as the time brain is ripped from her shoulder, she feels that tearing motion. And as it presumably gets chomped up and dies in your big sharky mouth, there's almost this disconnect as she brings her 13-year-old hand down to slam on the glass of the beach, yelling, "Stop hurting him, Mom, what are you doing?" And it's her adult hand as she hits the glass. And there is an adult Loren on this beach watching through the glass. She goes, What? Shakes her head and looks at this double vision as she sees herself fighting 𝗔𝗦𝗧, and she goes, No, let me out. The siren doesn't care. So as you're pinning her, she looks up at you, this venom in her eyes. And then there's almost this shift in the air around you, and you feel this like almost rippling. We're on a spaceship. You and Loren almost always smell like the ocean. Your magic is intrinsically tied to the sea. There's always that scent of sea breeze and salt on the both of you. You know it well. In this rippling, as her eyes soften and she smiles at you, it smells like home. It smells like when you return home to your family. And as she mechanically uses a couple sorcery points to take on her siren form, and the spines begin extending, her fingers growing green and black, broken almost in their transformation. As the spines extend and she becomes incredibly more dangerous, there is this smell of home, and in Anna's voice, she says to you, "Well, that was a bit rough, wasn't it, darling? But I think you'll have to try harder than that." And she is going to bring her bare feet up, because she does sleep without shoes on, and she's going to try and plant her feet into your chest. For a moment, you think she's maybe going to try and push you off as you shake off this orientation, and then at the last second, instead, she digs her taloned toes into your chest and drags down. That's me using my natural weapons that I get with Alter Self, which gives me a bonus to my attack. So I'm gonna basically roll to see if I just rip his shirt open like a romance novel cover, or if I actually manage to rend skin here. That's a 17.
That beats his AC.
Okay.
As he just almost like still holding you tightly, but just flinches for a moment, and his eyes go distant for a moment. He goes, "Anna?"
So that ends up being, the natural weapons give me a D6, which I believe is also like +1, I think? I'm so bad
It would
at
be strength-based.
Strength-based, okay. But I do also have, because technically these are magical weapons, I get a +1 to my damage bonus. So that becomes a 4, I believe. So you take 4 points of piercing. Oh, I would actually say this was slashing. So yeah.
Does it rip his shirt open?
Yes. It probably like rips his shirt open with like these into like little ribbons, but also it pierces like into your sharky flesh and just drags down. Not so deep that you would maybe be worried, but like it hurts, it stings. And there's still that smell of home, that scent of the sea, the sound of Anna's voice. And that is my turn.
At the end of the sirens go, Loren, roll me a charisma saving
Oh, wow.
as you try to break through.
Oh, boy. Let's go. Can I know my DC?
No.
Okay. 14.
That is nowhere near enough.
Sick. That's low for me, so.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, this isn't going to be easy in this scenario.
Well, yeah, Loren is still like banging on the glass as the beach and the sea and Iomir and the blood just falls away, and it's just her almost back in this cage imagined her in, just banging on this glass, trying to get out.
So next, the next role is 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. When we last saw you were in front of your troops preparing for the battle ahead when suddenly your mind started to almost be in 2 times at once, in 2 states at once. And it's almost like you're being torn between those 2 points on your timeline, both physically and mentally.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, with the weight, the sheer weight of the years, of the thoughts, the memories rushing into him, he falls to the ground, collapses almost, and his troops would see him shaking and shuddering and just begging, no, I can't go back, no. And as one of them approaches him, he pushes them back, tries to gently to get them away, but a raking claw extends out and pushes, and this strange rippling comes over his skin as years of pain and memory start to warp him. And the subordinate who comes near him gets maybe the smallest of gashes to their arm, but as they step back, they can see just this extending and melting of flesh and body and person. He is not himself, and as he looks up and meets the eyes of this subordinate, the eyes start to distend and bulge and then lose all color as one of them almost dissolves in front of them. I can't go back. And the words are almost spat chokingly as his throat deforms and reforms, limbs pulling and pushing out on themselves, shaking on the ground. Just checking the charisma saving throw. Which version of, is it Zexor or Galut that is making that?
We'll go with Galut.
That's a 22.
22. Hey, so you are doing the best you can to hold on to yourself, so to speak, as you are being torn between these times. It doesn't do much to stop the effect, but it may have some repercussions for wherever you end up. I will message that to you as we are in the next sequence.
Okay.
Alright, so next is Neris. So you have pretty much walked out of your quarters into.
So Neris is probably a little bit disoriented, but in a calmer state, as if he's woken up from a vision and he's just trying to piece everything together. So he's kind of walking in a little bit of a trance. His mind still kind of out and looking for feelers and trying to get a gauge on what's happening. He can hear, I think you mentioned there's a commotion on the ship. He can hear some form of noise.
So it was quiet, but there's starting to be some noise, build up.
Okay. And I think his room is right at the end of the corridor of rooms. So I think he's probably going to start to make his way down and try and look for a room that is open to see if there's any sort of interaction or threat of other sand creatures. He'll just do that cautiously.
Yeah, so roll me an investigation check.
That is where is that? That's a good roll. That's a 24.
Okay. So you notice this trail of darker sand along the ground that seems to lead to one of the rooms.
Do I know whose room that is?
Not one of the quarters. It is the. It would probably be home.
In that case,
Does branch off to almost all of the quarters, but the main path is towards the helm.
Okay. I think Neris is going to just try and shoot out a quick message cantrip, and I think it will be to the captain. He will say, in still a cautious but calmer voice than what he's had for a little while. Trouble on board. Possible incursion. Making my way to the helm. Join if able. And that will be all.
Can Janice reply, or is that... Am I thinking of sending? He can?
You can
reply with both.
So then you would hear, after a couple of beats, a couple of seconds, a very furtive, because it's also in a whisper, a very furtive, creatures overrun the ship. Be careful, Rowan has changed. I will be there when I can.
And so I take it you head towards the helm.
Neris does stop and kind of pause at Loren has changed, but he will continue moving cautiously towards the helm and attempt to take a look inside.
We'll get to that in a moment. Finally, Fishman and Alton. Fishman, you have no idea who you are, where you are, what is going on. All you know is that there is a drow, a deep elven man chasing you down.
Fishman would absolutely be going for any way that seems to go out or up. And I believe the structure of the quarters is just like one big hallway.
Pretty much, yeah.
With, I'm assuming, stairs at the end.
Yep.
Fishman is going to go up, but of note, he is leaving a path of ice behind him that also quickly melts as he gets further and further away from it. But of note, he's leaving a trail of ice on the ground.
Which is going to make it harder for me to move, I'm guessing.
I mean, it's only within 10 feet that it's difficult terrain, and he moves more than that. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, as soon as Fishman takes off, Alton's like, oh, shit. Oh, this is not the time for this. And he will try to like take off after him, kind of like looking around wildly, trying to think of what to do. He'll call out like Fishman, you good? Seriously, there's no need to run. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧? Oh, I don't even know what that thing does. And he'll try to follow after Fishman.
So, Fishman, as you get onto the deck, you see something that stops you in your tracks. Momentarily. How long that is, I'll leave it to you. But you see this monstrous figure at the front of the ship. And there is the front end of the creature that you see from the helm. Almost akin to... It doesn't appear to be truly draconic, but that is the closest frame of reference that you may have for this thing. Almost like an exoskeletal wyvern, gargantuan proportion. The limbs almost the same as the spider-like brain creatures, and a large brain the size of a person at the brain of it. And in fact, running down the tail of it that you see now, going into the helm, and you can see the point where it is clearly pierced to allow the polar fluid into the ship, almost like it was almost like a spinal nervous system kind of thing running down. Alton, moments later, as you get up to the deck, you would see that as well.
So I absolutely do choose to stop moving. So I guess Fishman notices this, or whoever he is, but also the fact that this is not a plane he's familiar with at all. This is something he's never seen before. Something that resembles a glistening sky drowned in darkness. This is very, very strange for him. He sees this, I guess what I kind of grasp as like a monstrosity of some sort. It sounds disgusting, at least. And if he can he focus on, you said there was like a person on the inside, or?
No, person-sized brain.
Okay, right.
But that is where we've kind of established everyone, and we jump to the top of initiative. So, Alton, you won initiative, so as you kind of catch up to Fishman and see this strange creature that seems at least superficially to have a lot in common with the creatures that you've been seeing throughout the ship. What do you do?
Yeah, well, Alton would have kind of like careened up there, sliding around on the ice probably, and looked relieved to see Fishman standing still, then looks behind him to see this huge, bizarre monstrosity. And Alton's gonna get in front of Fishman. Just be like, Fishman, get below deck. I don't know what the fuck that thing is, but that's dangerous. If you don't remember how to fight, if you don't remember your magic, get below deck, stay safe. I'll explain this all later. And I'd said that Alton had grabbed, he's got his weapons, he's got his daggers, he's got his pistols, he does not have armor, but he will then turn aside from Fishman and still standing in front of him and point both pistols at this creature.
Roll to hit.
Absolutely. Okay, so first one hit is a 21.
1. Doesn't move it.
Fantastic. And min damage, that's 8 points of damage.
8 points. That.
Alrighty. I'll do another one to hit. I might fiddle. No, I think probably he's spent a lot of time talking. He's just going to shoot without doing any settings. That one is a 31 to hit.
Yeah.
So 16 points of damage this time. Yeah. And then one final shot, aiming right for the brain. And that is a 26 to hit.
6. Nice. That also hits.
Excellent. Alrighty, so that one is fantastic. 10 points of damage.
Right. So, next then will be Fishman to decide whether or not he listens to the elf man's words of warning.
Okay. You speak to me as if you know me. You say true friend. And you seem to be putting yourself in front of me.
Yeah.
You are kind, but I do not take you as stupid. And with that, can Fishman please try and grab Alton and throw him down the stairway?
You can. It would be an athletics against Alton's athletics or acrobatics.
I'll do athletics because he wasn't expecting it. And he's terrible at athletics.
The intent here is this thing is big and Alton is alone. And Fishman has recently seen many be slaughtered by something half the size of this, or actually scale comparison to 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧?
It's not as big as 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
Okay. Yeah.
It's getting up there, but like this is a gargantuan creature, but it's on the lower end of gargantuan. Like it is big enough to be a threat to this ship, but it is not bigger than this ship in the way that 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is bigger than this ship.
Yep. Had to do.
Well, I got a 3, which makes it a 1.
Right,
So you can throw out like a sheet of paper. Like he's like just a tissue. You can just pluck him and just fling him as far as you want.
Yeah. So this is
was not
this is
expecting
hopefully intending to get you out of the way. And I guess as Alton is hopefully gently thrown down the stairs, if there's such a thing. The intent isn't to damage, but I guess it's up to.
I think, you would take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall down the stairs.
Hit my head a little.
And then Fishman will follow down and pick you up if he can. If you have others, get them now. This is a large vessel, one that you do not pilot alone.
What the fuck, man? I mean, there, you didn't have to throw me though, but yes, all right.
I guess action economy-wise, where are we at? I'm guessing the throw was his action.
Yeah.
All right. And then could he pretty please?
You're essentially replacing both of your attacks there. The first one to grab, and then the second one to throw.
Yes, yeah, that's fine. And can he also? That's not a bonus action. Sorry. Yeah, none of these are bonus action. Yeah, he might just have to leave it there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So next, we go back to Janice and Loren with Janice's turn.
All right, so Janice sort of shakes his head again once more after both being attacked by Loren, hearing the voice of his wife, and then hearing the voice of 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and he sort of just grits his teeth, and then he's like, yes, other things to worry about. This place is compromised. Loren will be too. Stop it. And he's going to shove the siren, because he's already holding her grappled, so he's going to shove her forward. So the shove move is basically like one attack action, and so that's my athletics check versus acrobatics, I believe.
Yeah.
So my athletics check. My athletics check is a 23 to beat.
That's
So
not
he
going
just,
to beat a nat 1.
Oh no! So he throws her forward into the ground, and then he's just going to punch down at one of her wrists to almost sort of try and It's not even like he's trying to hurt her. He's just trying to like strike that nerve to stop her from attacking. And that's just an unarmed strike. So that is, hang on, a 28 to hit. So that's 6 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
I'm going to say for that, just Loren, you get a bonus saving throw, charisma save, to kind of regain control as the siren is kind of knocked down in force. And 12. So no, not at this thing.
So what's the siren's response? What does she look like in response to that? Still regaining that control. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's fucking hell, Janice. So as he because they were sort of grappling like half on Loren's bed and like half not. As he like fully just throws her and punches her wrist, there is that that very human like cry of pain as you feel, even though you're trying not to hurt her, like as you feel that shift of bone and cartilage, you think you've potentially dislocated her wrist.
He does look forward, a step back and for a moment.
Yeah.
Grimacing. And I will almost say, since I didn't use my bonus action for that, he does involuntarily shift back almost to his elven form.
Okay. The siren looks down at her hand and looks up at you. That's a bit more like it, Jay, isn't it? As she takes her own hand and cracks it back into position, shakes it back out, and then as a bonus action, you hear this music begin to play, this humming on the wind. And it's almost like throat singing that she's doing, but higher, more melodic, like wind passing through trees, moving over rocks, wending its way into your ear, and you hear Anna's voice, and for a moment it's almost like she's there, but she's not, but she is, but she's not. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okie dokie.
I'm having a look at this DC compared to
you have to beat a 17.
That's a 13. I rolled a 14.
Okay. Cool.
And you can almost see, his face has shifted, cracked back from a shark, and it continues. It's almost like he's been trying to force it back into this monstrous shark form, but he continues to shrink as his eyes, the white pupils sort of blow out, I imagine, as whatever you're doing, as this music takes hold, as this memory takes hold.
Yeah, so you are charmed. Technically, this does also have a 300-foot radius, but she doesn't want everyone right now. She wants Janice.
So probably soundproofed within the room to an extent.
Nearest you bastard.
Not quite soundproof, but folks can hear it in other parts of the ship, as this faint sound, but not loud enough for it to affect them magically.
Yeah, so you can all hear that a song has begun, but you don't feel it pressing against your mind the way you have felt it in the past, those of you that have experienced this before. My apologies to 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧/Galut. This is a whole new can of worms. So,
also worth noting that Janice is also incapacitated while he is charmed.
Yes, he is. Joe left the chat. Horrified.
Joe's just gone.
We're done.
That's it. We're finished.
I could always do that at funny moments.
Yeah, so Janice is incapacitated, he is charmed, and at the start of the rest of your turns, you are going to take psychic damage. I don't believe you take it on the initial turn, though.
My dearest.
There you are, darling. I was going to tell you that was all a bit much. You know I love to see your face. And she stands back up, cracks her neck, and walks up to you and just kind of grabs your face, just moves it around just to feel that you're not going to fight back.
There is no resistance.
Good. Oh, it's so nice to be out. You know, I don't get to be often. Oh, but you fight so hard for this little one. That was a real ouchie. I'll bring her back, eventually. She's fighting real hard to get back to you, big man. You bite real hard, don't you?
I didn't mean to.
Oh, don't worry,
I never
Jay.
do. Oh, sorry, yeah.
No, you say that again.
No, you go. It's fine.
There you go.
I never do.
I know, Jay. You're always just trying your best. You have tried. And just let me double check. I have this spell. Yeah, she's going to use Gust to close the door. That's her action. That's my turn.
Yeah, end of your turn. Loren, make a charisma save to try to break through.
She is not pleased. What the fuck? 15!
This is horrid luck.
She's... Bruh.
The dice have a story they want to tell.
They do, absolutely.
All right. Meanwhile, the Chronophage is going to... Ooh, so Fishman and Alton off the deck now, aren't they? So I think what it's going to do is it's going to try to use its tail to kind of do anything else. So it's not going to get its full action economy this turn, but it's going to shoot its tail out to try to pierce at you now. So that's going to be an absolute certainty. 17 on the dice plus 15.
Is that at disadvantage because Neris is currently shimmering?
I will roll at a disadvantage and see on the off chance. Because what is your AC?
15.
Yeah, so that's
not
still,
high.
Yeah, so that's still a 29.
Okay, in that case, Neris will vanish instantly and reappear 10 feet behind him.
Okay, so, and you don't take damage from that, because that's the mirror image, is that?
That is the tome that he has picked up. There is a slight shimmer in this book as when an attack goes to hit Neris and bypasses all of his other defenses, Neris can use a reaction to channel that energy in the tome.
Yes.
And teleport backwards 10 feet.
Okay. That's because it is a teleportation based. Okay. All right. So that is pretty much... Actually, you know what? The creature's it's still going to use its claw attacks and bite attack against the ship itself. Now, the ship is immune to psychic damage, so it's not going to attack. It's still psychic. That's just the base stat block. This is force damage, but it does have what the trait is called. So this might not be as bad for it as it could otherwise be. So the claws, one of the claws doesn't quite manage to pierce through the hull, but the other does, doing 25 points of damage, and then the bite also goes to take a chunk out of the railing, dealing an additional 34 points of damage. So for a total of 59 points of damage this turn. All right. Next is in the initiative. You know what he's doing at the moment because no one knows where he is. Same with the radar. No one's seen that yet. Okay, Neris, it's your go. Just teleported out of the way of this piercing tail attack.
I think as Neris sees that tail coming towards him, he kind of panics a little bit and instinctively just grabs that tome, the tome that he's had with him for a very long time, and just feels this teleportation kind of happen instinctively. Just kind of looks down, notices that he hasn't got a tail through his chest. And is it just... So where is this happening?
This is in the helm for you.
This is in the helm. Okay. Yes. Cool. So there's a lot that's happening at the moment. There is a giant creature that is way out of Neris's realm of expertise, attacking the ship. Somebody is singing, which has never been good in the past, and we don't know where anyone else is.
Is Neris in the hallway now, or is he still in the helm?
Probably teleported.
Probably.
I'm assuming out into the hallway.
Yeah, because that's where Fishman and Alton are, or whoever and Alton are.
Okay, then Neris will very quickly look around, clock those two. Big angry thing in there. We need to go in there, but I would not go in there. This is such... just having a nice nap, and
You're having a nice one? Yeah, no, let's grab everyone to attack this thing.
My character replies, "If this is your captain, get him to rally the rest."
I'll grab the captain. Long story, he says to Neris.
And Neris has spent a bit of time with Fishman.
It would be an insight check to see, kind of try to read him, see what's going on there.
17.
No, I think there's something off about him.
Okay. I think Neris kind of squints a little bit at Fishman and then looks at Alton, kind of trying to clock what the situation is. And then I think we'll respond to Alton. The captain may be in some trouble.
The spider brain thing or something else?
Something potentially worse. Be on your guard. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is still probably not good. And I assume while we're having this conversation, the angry thing is not just sort of idling. So Neris will probably... I will attempt to deal with the captain and the issue. Perhaps you can try and hold off this creature. Distract him, but stay cautious.
Take shots out, then duck back in. Can do.
Also, I don't know what will happen if the ship explodes, if it takes too much damage. So maybe don't let that happen. Okay, bye, and we Misty Step.
No pressure.
So, Misty Step up onto the deck, or?
So, there's been a fun little thing happening with Neris's brain visions. He has the ability to sort of see glimpses into every future. I have a question for you, DM. There has been a couple of mentions with 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 that when Loren goes into an alternate form, these visions of Loren's future cease to exist. They become a void, an absence of visions. Can Neris sense that at the moment, with the understanding that there is currently singing as well?
That is a potential interpretation. It's not like there are no threads going out, but there are, things are not the greatest in that regard.
Neris knows he's captain. Neris in this situation would be under the impression, based on what the captain has said about Loren in the message, and what he knows about the captain himself, the captain will be where Loren is currently. I don't think Loren would seek out the captain. I think the captain would seek out Loren. Therefore, Neris will teleport to Loren's room.
Oh, so we've got Neris, Fishman, Janice, and Loren on. Now, Loren, do Neris and the Fishman have to roll charisma saves upon entering this area?
Did Fishman also go with Neris?
Was that the intention of the Misty Step?
No, Neris was going on his own.
Okay, so does Neris have to make the charisma save?
If he's entered into the room and can hear her, yeah. Even if she's not aiming it at him, it's an area of effect, not a focus.
Yeah.
So wisdom 17, buddy.
Wisdom. Okay.
Oh, wisdom save.
That should be much better for a wizard. Like,
I was mildly worried for a split second there.
I mean, it would be fun if you failed, though.
That would be very, very fun. Okay.
it's about 50-50.
We are good. That is a 19.
Okay.
I think.
You feel that song, like, as you enter into the room and see Loren covered in these spines, these black wings almost forming out of them from her back, like holding Janice's face as he just gazes at her, like pupils so wide his eyes are just a thin ring of gold and white. You feel this music press against your psyche and you push back against it and it does not take hold, and you are now immune for 24 hours.
Okay. Very quickly, we probably can't communicate because Neris has done a lot of that this time.
Yeah.
Can he just very quickly clock that Loren is currently seeming to be a threat?
Quick insight check. But it's probably going to be quite low.
The DC is 1.
That's good because that's an 11.
Yeah. Definitely Loren is in siren mode and very much a threat.
Cool. I'm going to assume that's probably an action as well, everything that Neris has done.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All
Then I
right.
think Neris will just kind of cock his head.
Okay, so 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, 𝗖𝗔𗦧, you are kind of stuck between moments in time here. What do you do within either of those times? So you are almost aware of both moments at once.
From his place on the ground, as he feels the skin around him warping and shifting, and his bones curving and pushing against skin and muscle and vessel, he looks up from his place of kneeling and sees above him his god. Only it's not, it is, he can't, his men are in front of him and they look horrified. And that look is reflected back in his eyes as he looks up at the stony facade of what was once Loomis, propped up against the wall of a room on an impossible ship in an impossible place. And he starts to weep openly. The one subordinate is clutching at his arm, and the fear that's there, 𝗖𝗓 knows, but he's not 𝗖𝗓. He can't be 𝗖𝗓. He needs to be him, because if he's not 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, then everything that happened actually happened, and Rael is gone, and he is never. There's a loud crash, and he doesn't know which reality it's from. And as the creature that is 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 and the bugbear that is 𝗖𝗓 shift through where they are, he crashes into the wall just shy of the door of his room as he scrambles to get out. And as he does, he pushes past his troops, many of them backing up, horrified. There's a murmuring and gasps as this shifting and change happens, and he stumbles up towards the deck. He needs to find any of them. He needs to not be here, because if he sees them, he knows it's real. He isn't on this ship. It's just a dream. He's back in reality, but he's not. And he stumbles his way onto the deck and sees in front of him this awful monstrosity backed by just the vastness of space and stars, and there's horrified noises around him. He is witnessed as he is and as he was, and something inside him weeps as he looks at this strange creature in front of him and knows that the creature isn't the monster. He draws his sword, and in 𝗖𝗔𝗧's past, his past, people start to scream. 𝗖𝗔𝗧 is going to attack this creature. I don't know who or what 𝗖𝗓 attacks in the past.
So roll to hit with disadvantage to represent this kind of split focus.
Yes. No disadvantages so far. That's still a 23.
Yeah, this is a massive creature. It's still pretty hard to miss. Because for someone with any sort of training with the weapon that they have, you slash into this creature. Where you are hitting into the exoskeleton, the Fathomless exoskeleton, chipping away at it. How much damage do you do?
23 points of damage, but 6 points of that are necrotic, if that changes anything.
It does not with this creature.
Okay. And I think he pushes back the screaming that he hears as someone is felled somewhere far away, somewhere not here, as he knows that the untrue is true. And I think someone falls to the ground, bleeding out. There's a moment, just the briefest of moments, where he feels that loss and that sorrow, for with this guttural, awful noise, this weep falls out of him as he strikes at the creature again. He stumbles and falls to the ground in a heap, sobs racking through this broken body with a natural one.
Okay. So Neris tells Alton to basically just put up a defense to provide like a covering fire against this creature. And Alton, without a thought, he goes to head towards this, kind of showing this kind of propensity towards blindly following orders, especially in moments of stress, that comes from, well, first his time in the Ether's clinic, and then his time as a lower ranked member of the Crimson Lakes. But then as he goes by Fishman, he remembers the tumble that he took to end up here, and he says, are you gonna grab me and take me down again? I promise you, I can go up there, I can take some shots, hopefully keep it away, and then duck right back onto cover.
I understand that this is a strategy, but I cannot guarantee that I can pull you down. Currently, I am quite weak, as he points to his bleeding shoulder. Are you sure this is the best decision? I don't particularly see another option for myself, but to trust whatever you want to do right now.
Okay. How damaged? Can I roll like a medicine check on Fishman?
Yeah, you can roll a medicine check.
That's the 22.
Fishman, how are you looking?
If his health was a piece of pie, he would have a quarter taken out of that pie.
Nice. Okay. I think I'm kind of like stuck for a moment, trying to think of what the best course of action is. Then ultimately he's gonna he'll grab out his medical supplies and be like, "Right, I'll see what I can do to help with that. I'd recommend you stay out of danger, but if you must, you have some weapons in your room as well, a crossbow and a harpoon."
Of note, he did grab them before he ran out of the room. That was whilst Alton was trying to speak with him, he did grab those as he was eyeing the door.
Okay. In that case, it'd be, I'd recommend you to stay here, but if you must fight, you are quite good with ranged weapons, with a crossbow, the harpoon.
Just briefly, because I know this is a long conversation scene. You can see him, he does wield that crossbow, and whilst it's unfamiliar to him, his fingers find the places that they need to be.
It's procedural memory. It's not affected by amnesia.
He knows how to hold it strangely, as if the muscle memory is there. And you see him light up with some form of confidence. And he says, "I can handle myself, but at the very least I can buy all of us time. You, the captain, and the rest of the crew. Or whoever the captain is. You said it was a long story."
Yes, it's Janice at the moment. Right, can I do something about those wounds?
You must.
So he'll get out some bandages and like quick disinfectant or anything, and he will do. It's like ages since I've done healing. 12 plus 3 plus 4, 19 points of healing.
Nice. Thank you.
Excellent. Alrighty. And then he'll just kind of nod to Fishman, and then also want to talk about him, call out just in the direction of like Loren's room and be like, "Anything happens, if I hear too much screaming, I'm coming back. Don't die in there." And then he's going to head up the stairs, and finally, as a bonus action, he is going to grab out one of his little guns with like the little wheels upon them, and not gun fury sadly this time, but a little gun that's a little bit more like slim, and it has like a little shooting star design painted on, and he's going to drop that up at the top of the stairs.
Lovely. You would also see the form of Gullet there with a chronal parasite almost hanging on for dear life, but almost rotting away.
Oh boy. Okay. What the parasite is?
The parasite is.
Oh, that one. Ah, yes. Okay.
Does that stop you in any way? Do you take Gullet in yet, or do you keep going before you sort of observe?
I think that's the end of my go.
Yeah, so is Gullet on deck now? Like on the deck?
On deck. Yeah. Gullet's up there. When
Noted.
anyone... Yeah. Don't worry about this. Cut this out. Don't worry about that.
So next is Fishman.
So Alton is on the deck now.
Yes.
Oh, he's just in the doorway. He's not.
In the doorway of the
Yeah,
deck. But
he would have
still-
at least
Yeah.
3/4 cover, I would assume.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of
It's not full.
making sure you've got the door in a way that you can see what's going on, but you've got that cover.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right. So yeah, we've got a couple people on deck. All right. So can what is constantly being called as Fishman please, I guess, go up next to Alton and say, just for this one time, I will not pull you down. I'd like to get a measure of this thing.
Appreciated. Careful though.
All right, and then can he please also step onto the deck? And can he, you see, for those who are looking, Fishman comes out kind of looking at his hands, and with kind of like a grasp, he clenches a fist and turns invisible. Again, it's like he knew what to do, but this is also new to him. But also, I guess at this point, he would look up and see now two more things on the deck. One more thing on the deck, which is Galoot. And I guess a voice from nowhere says, friend or foe, this new one.
Oh, right. Yes, no. They don't look it, they're a friend.
Noted.
Oh.
And then can Fishman please, so the invisibility was a bonus action. Can he please use his action to shoot an arrow, please? At the brain, if possible.
Yeah.
As that looks like a juicy weak spot.
Yeah. Good roll to hit.
Excellent. I feel like it's been so
While you're rolling
long
to
since I've done
hit,
it.
Jake. While you're rolling to hit, Jake, not that this will make any discernible difference to, well, not Fishman, but as you look upon this creature and its mottled and strange, wiry skin, you notice that several wounds seem to be open and bleeding in a way that is just sort of oozing constantly and doesn't seem right. It seems like some of the wounds are fresh rather than old, even though the flesh doesn't look like that's how it should be. Anyway, that's it. But you don't know that the creature would look any different than that, so you just think this creature's icky.
Icky, but apparently a friend, though. So that was a 22 to hit.
22 suddenly hits.
Certainly hits. Excellent. So, that is only 8 piercing damage. But then he will teleport if he can. Can he get closer to it? 10 feet he can teleport at a time.
You can get 10 feet closer to it.
Excellent.
So you're probably so from your particular deck entrance point, you're probably about 60 feet away from it here.
Excellent. And is he near to a railing?
You can be if you want.
All right. Excellent.
It's quite a narrow ship, so 10 feet teleport, very easy to get close to a railing.
No worries. And second attack, we will go with a 18 to hit.
18 just, it's not quite meeting its AC, but it does still hit.
All right. Cool. And so that one there is 10 piercing damage.
10 piercing, okay, not shabby.
And when this thing is hit, is there any noise? Is there any reaction?
There is a physical reaction, but there's no sound that comes out of it. It looks like it's writhing in reaction, almost as you would expect a creature to, but there's no sound emanating from it.
And it looks as if it's one creature, it's one entity, not
It appears to be
multiple.
one entity.
But now that's where Fishman will stay.
Is Janice. He can't really do much on your turn. Is it on his turn that he takes the psychic damage, or on your next turn?
So at the start of Janice's turn, as Neris pops into the room and Loren turns to look at him like a bird noticing a predator off in the distance, you feel this song as it worms into your brain, kind of take on this staccato, jagged feeling as you take 2 points of psychic damage.
And he almost just like recoils, I guess, but I suppose if he's been charmed in this way, he's not really seeing what's happening right now. So again, those pupils are still expanded at full white. But instead, he says to someone not there, he just sort of starts, like he seems to be just sort of be pleading, like in this disjointed way of just like, Hannah, my dearest, I didn't mean to get tied up in all of this. If I'd taken a different path, if I'd taken shore leave a month earlier, if I'd listened to Tibbs when he told me again and again to take time off, to get my hands checked out, to get away, this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't be my problem. I wouldn't feel responsible for everyone here. And I'd just be there with you. We'd be spending how much time that we have left together with what we've made. And instead I am here so far away. But you've returned to me. It's okay. I won't go away again.
I know you won't, darling.
At the end of your turn, Janice, I believe Janice gets a save.
Yes. Wisdom 17.
Yeah, it is quite a high DC for Janice.
It's not great for Janice.
But
That's a natural 2. That's a 1. Oof.
all right, and it is the Siren's go.
As this song sort of keeps humming in the background, it's almost like if you've ever heard like two-tone singing where someone is making like 2 notes at once. It's almost as if that hum is always at the base of her chest, and then she speaks above it almost melodically. In the moment as Neris appeared, as the creature outside had like struck the ship, there's this moment where all of us just kind of rock. I'll repeat that because there was a honk. There's a moment where we all just rock to the side, and in a moment of feral panic, she reaches under Loren's pillow and pulls out a dagger, and is just going to turn immediately and point it directly at Neris. And you see this rage, akin to when Janice is at full steam, just pure unadulterated hatred, not in general, but for you. And in this moment, she takes a deep breath, lets it out, and lets the dagger fall just slightly so it points at your heart instead of between your eyes. You wizard types, you never know when to leave well enough alone, do you?
And yet it seems to be you causing all the trouble here.
That's the thing. You all seem to think that sirens want to lead people, men, to their death. I'm not like that. I'd much rather lead you all to destruction. Jay, darling, get on your knees for me.
He does.
She holds the dagger in front of his neck. If I said so, darling, would you move forward?
Of course. I'd do anything for you.
Good. So now we know not to play games, don't we, Neris? Look, I know there's a big, tough fella out there giving you all grief. I'll let the fish back into the cage, but you have to admit, it's nice to be out. Were you thinking when you came in here that you'd see some sort of hysterical, screaming, cackling creature? Men always think that. I'm not doing anything to bring you down. I am doing what I have to do, because everyone is just trying to take me away. I thought I could trust him. And she points the dagger directly at Janice's Adam's apple. But you're all the same. Did you know the first siren never actually killed anyone? You all made us. You made me. I'm just doing what you made me do. Her though. And she points the dagger now at Loren's unscarred eye, uncomfortably close. She's the monster here. She's chosen to do all of this. Which makes me think, actually, the two of you, there's a lot of history here, a lot of trauma, a lot of tension, isn't there, Jay?
Yes, of course.
Did either of you ever ask, what did Loren say when she found Janice? Why, Janice, would Neris send her, of all people, to find you? You're all just so content with where you're at, you never ask any questions. I think a bit of chaos does you good.
Well, 30, we are pushing the boundaries of 6 seconds there.
Yes, that's all my turn is.
Yeah.
So,
I take it you mechanically use the bonus action to maintain the song?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Do you want Loren to try and break free?
Yeah. Charisma save from Loren.
Oh my god. The dice are telling a story this evening because that is a 27.
That is enough. With a DC of 25, that is enough for Loren to smash through, shatter the glass underneath, and regain control of herself.
There's this gasping, heaving moment, and all the spines on her, you know, like when a bird like shakes off water and then all the feathers like settle back into place. It's like all the spines stand straight up and then settle back down and either merge back into her skin or fall away to the ground. And she kind of staggers and looks up, and there's just a tiny bit of like black ichor running out of her blackened eye. What the fuck?
Back on the deck with the Chronophage. The Chronophage is going to use its sense of time ability, so almost akin to a dragon lifting up its neck to ready a breath weapon. It releases this cone of sand. This sand almost akin to those who have seen it, like the threads, the arcane threads of sand that you would see when pulling the claws of the parasites out of their hosts. And I need Fishman, Alton, and 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Would 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 be at disadvantage because he is quite literally kneeling in front of the creature right now?
No. It's still a high DC, so you don't need to be fishing for disadvantages.
Alton got a 17. As always, is it a poison or a spell?
It is neither, and that is not enough to succeed. Fishman?
Fishman got an 8.
That is not enough to succeed. And 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, bullet?
13.
13, not enough to succeed. So, each of you take 48 points of necrotic damage. Half for 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, down to 24.
Yeah.
It's quickly because I would we have got an advantage for being under like 3/4 cover, half cover? Not really.
Not with a Constitution check.
Okay,
Not
that's
with a
fair.
Constitution save. If it's a dex save, then yes, but Constitution save,
makes
no.
sense. For sure. Okay, Alton drops to the floor, unconscious.
Okay, so can I get, actually, I will just use this one.
Does this count as an attack?
Yeah, it does.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Okay, I'm a bit confused by the wording of this as to whether it means the creature or the victim. But 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 has the fighting style of interception, so can use a reaction. So the wording is, when a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet of you with an attack. Okay, no, a target other than you. Cool.
Yeah.
The others wouldn't be within 5 feet, would they?
Yeah. Not at this stage. Also, strangely, these are probably the three people that it would be least noticeable on, but you each physically age the equivalent of 11 years. Well, not the equivalent of 11 years.
Double is back.
This again. Oh my god.
For Alton, that's barely a drop in the
Unnoticeable
bucket.
on 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
Yeah. All right. So that is the Chronophage. Next is Janice. Janice is still kind of under the spell of the siren song. Loren has seemingly just come back to her wits. What would you like to do?
Oh, Janice is still on his knees, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Neris will look at Loren, seemingly coming back almost shocked, confused, and with that little bit of ichor dripping from her eye. I think Neris sort of looks, judges the whole situation, and there's an expression that's probably difficult to read in the moment for Loren, but it almost looks either like confusion or disappointment, and then Neris snaps back out of it and goes back to his normal guarded expression. Are you okay?
Oh, yes, no, yes, I am.
Is Janice okay?
He will be. Give him a second.
We might not have a second. We need to get to the deck. Alton and Fishman are fighting wherever the things came from.
Thanks. Right. Janice ate mine. Janice ate the one on me, and he sort of bit me. We'll deal with that, I guess.
We probably should deal with Janice. I will assist Alton and Fishman.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
As Neris goes for the door, I think he'll turn around and just, you're here. You're back.
Yeah, I am.
Good to have you back. And he will turn and run out to the deck.
I take it. If nothing else, your action dashing as well.
Whatever he can do to get out there. Or get near there.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to run into the open because he's a squishy boy.
Also, mind your step. We have a new doormat. His name is Alton.
Please don't trip on me.
Right. Next is Philip. Whatever is currently within our presence.
So there's this shuddering as this sand, this impossible sand in this impossible place, in this impossible time that can't be real, pushes over and through 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and he feels the sand float past these freshly opened wounds in the place where his ribs seem to jut and crackle, and he looks down upon himself and sees the rattling of the chains and knows what they mean and how they got there and who he is. And it feels wrong. It's all wrong. This awful guttural weeping continues, and it's getting louder to the point where Fishman and maybe even Neris can just hear this broken, almost rattling, awful. And Fishman and Neris, if you're both within visible range, you see this awful, almost smoky, dull energy just seep out of every pore as almost without him even realizing he's doing it, the negative energy flood takes over. Can the creature make a Constitution saving throw, please?
That is not great. That is 18.
That is exactly the same as what the save is. I don't know what that means.
So it would just make it. Just makes the save?
Yeah. Okay. And this creature isn't undead, is it?
No.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Awesome. Well, it still takes half. So this awful, almost ghastly energy just seeps out from what 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is now, and it wraps itself around this wyvern-like creature. Sorry, just doing maths. And it takes 25 halved to 12 points. Yeah.
Not too bad for a resisted spell.
And I think that's all that it can do, really, because its bonus action stuff is all spells. Just cast one of those. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So back to Alton. So please let me know in a private chat the result of it.
Okay. I'm going to use Lucky to reroll that one. Okay. Buckle.
We come to Fishman.
Okay. Fishman hurt, but he was hoping to gauge something, and he did. So he is going to... Yeah. So he's going to look up at this creature again. And maybe have a look around at all the sand around him. Is it, difficult terrain now, or...?
No.
No. Okay. Excellent. So he's going to take another attack roll here. And I'm just hoping we get something desirable. So that is 25 to hit. Not exactly what he wanted.
Still certainly
it's alright. I'm farming for a crit. Excuse me. Something I forgot to ask for. You said this thing has similarities to a dragon.
Only superficial. Structural. It was more of a reference point as to like the general shape of the creature.
Fishman deals a lot with beasts as well. Would he perhaps be able to categorize this creature, or is it simply alien?
It is more so along the lines of an aberration.
Aberration, right. So after his hit lands, that does 6 piercing damage. He is going to teleport 10 feet back towards the door. And then he's going to go for another attack if he can.
Yep.
Bada bing. Not quite. And not quite. So that is a 25 to hit again. And that is only 8 more piercing. And he'll teleport closer to the door as well. Now, how far away would he be after 20 feet of teleporting?
And he's been teleporting away each time, so probably about 80 feet back.
All right. Excellent. Could he bonus action Misty Step then through the door with whatever remaining movement as well to make sure he gets through that door? And can he please then also close that door?
Yes. That would fall under your interaction.
Excellent. Yeah, is there anyone in the hallway now?
Yeah, and then Alton is technically in it, right by the door, in the stairs.
As he looks down at Alton, taken down in one massive blow, but one blow, he looks over to Neris and says, "Where is the crew? You have no one on watch. I saw no one but one on deck, and they do not look well, and I do not see any following you. If this is it, we are doomed."
If you're saying anything.
No, I think Neris just kind of looks and tries to sort of pick a couple of words to say, but he is almost caught off guard, as really everything that Fishman is saying isn't entirely incorrect. So I think he tries to think of some, not quite a witty retort, but his own version of, words of inspiration, but does come up blank. He does still have a confident-ish look on his face. Whether it's believable or not is up to you.
Fishman's loses his confidence in his face with that response, or lack of.
Next is Janice.
What happens?
Yeah, the song technically is mechanically still going.
No, so the song stops when Loren stops singing, and she would have stopped singing when she came back. So probably at the song stops when Loren, the siren can either stop it, or if she's incapacitated, and Loren would have stopped it when she came back because the siren was gone. So Janice would feel this song not necessarily fade away, but it's almost like when you pass through fog and suddenly it just breaks and you can see again, and you wouldn't take any damage at this turn.
He just blinks and his pupils go back to the right side. He looks around and sees the fact that he is kneeling. And he looks around and sees that there's just Loren standing there. Right, what's going on? Report. And he wipes away some tears that he doesn't realize he was shedding. And this sort of dark shadow goes over his face for about a moment, and then he just again looks at you insistently.
Loren rubs her eyes forcefully and then looks at him and says, Nara said there's danger on deck. We have to get up there and fight. So why aren't we fighting?
Yeah, no, that's it. It's just one fight after another. Well, time to do what I do best. And he very clumsily sort of gets up, which is unfortunately half his movement, I guess. And he is going to look at you one more time. I'm glad you seem to be all right now.
You too.
Time to go race a storm then. And he's going to race with his remaining movement. He's going to dash to his room and get his glaive. And I suppose, and then he'll make his way back to the deck, but I imagine he can't do that in the entire move. So he grabs his glaive and he almost takes a couple of seconds just to breathe when he's in the room on his own, with there's sand strewn everywhere, signs of a struggle. And he takes that in and just looks around what the fuck am I doing? And then grabs the glaive and runs out again.
Next is Loren.
Okay, she just takes one of her 6 seconds here, and as Janice runs out, there's just this constricting in her chest, this eternal pressing pain. because she remembers everything said. And she just goes, fuck. And then how far is like to go out and up the stairs and onto the deck?
Probably about, to actually get to the deck, you're probably looking about 80 feet from where you are.
80 feet. Okay. Hot. So, okay, cool. She's going to run out of her room, and then she is going to Misty Step 30 feet towards the door, and then run like just to get to the door, like, and just looks down and sees Alton's like half breathing corpse, and is like, oh, so that's how it is today. Okay. And she's gonna open the door. Would I still have an action?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Oh my god. There's so many spells. Oh my gosh. How exciting to be me. Just to try and like test out what is going to like fuck with this creature the most. I am going to use lightning lure. So that is a strength save that the creature needs to make.
Not proficient in those. It is pretty strong, but it doesn't have the proficiency bonus.
Okay.
And that's a natural one for a total of 9.
Yay, that fails. Okay, so Loren kind of stands there in the half-open door and sees this creature and takes in the enormity of it while still feeling as if she almost can't breathe, and like Alton Feld and Janice behind her, like, and just how wrong and unshifting everything is. And she just tries to find that comfort in the sky, the storm, that moment that flows in her blood where the static electricity becomes lightning. And she reaches up and pulls that out from the inky blackness and shoots 16 points of lightning damage into this creature. And because it failed the strength save, it also gets pulled 10 feet closer.
How much damage was it?
16.
16. Okay, lovely. No resistance to that at all, so.
Good.
Okay. But it is its go, and it is pissed.
I have half cover.
And it is going to use its 4 attacks to kind of brace into the sides of the ship and go for a bite at you. Now, as you noted, you do have cover, so that is a +2 to your AC, effectively, for this attack.
Loren it all be potentially within 5 feet of Gulut with how things have ended up.
That is a 25 for you, Loren.
I don't think she would be near Gulut, because I believe Gulut was close to the creature. Yeah, even with a +2, buddy, this is the day of Loren getting bitten.
Yeah. From the bite attack, you take, it is a combination of piercing and psychic damage.
Not immune to either.
A total of 27 points of damage you take.
Oh boy, do I miss my temp HP. Okay.
He's going to do 9 double to 18 to the siege creature. Then the second thing is going to be plus additional 6 because it was a crit, so 18 double to 32. Okay. So the ship is starting to see some significant damage as its tail attack, which is going to come in, having been pulled up through the helm, is going to reach in underneath itself, basically, and go for you, Gulut. That is a total of 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
So you take a total of 11 force damage from that attack. You are
And I'm what, sorry?
grappled the end prongs of the tail wrapped around you, almost like a claw machine.
Did I hellish rebuke that? Cool. And the creature make a dexterity saving throw, please.
It's not great at these at all. That is a total of 12.
It's fine because it's a total of 6 points of
Every bit counts.
fire damage. Anyway, what was the damage to Gulut again? Sorry.
It was 11 points of force damage.
11 points. Cool. Thank you.
Next is Neris.
Okay. So looking around, Neris can see the deck now and see Alton.
Yeah, you would be able to see Alton. Yeah, you would be able to see past through to the deck, I believe. Just people passing through the doorway.
This creature that we're looking at, that's attacking, that seems to be very intent on destroying this vessel. Does it seem like any of the attacks that we're doing are beneficial or having any form of effect?
It appears to have taken a decent chunk of damage so far. Nothing major as yet, but you're wearing it down. But also the ship is taking a lot of damage as well.
Knowing the ship, do we think it will survive another barrage of attacks?
It will survive another barrage. How many more barrages? You do not know at this stage.
Okay. Based on Neris's experiences here, and understanding, well, I guess, sorry, I'm just trying to think things through. Because we know what the next step is. Or Neris knows what the next step is. That's to get this item, this orrery. And we know where that is now. And we have to get there. How's everyone else looking? Alton's down.
Fishman's with Alton, but not looking too good.
Loren's looking well bitten. Could handle another hit, but probably not too many.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is fine, but not 100% present enough to realize it can help the others yet.
I think Neris, in this moment, is beginning to understand what is important. And he's been looking at this essentially since we took off on the Spirited Gull. He's starting to come to the realization on what it is that needs to change, what it is that he needs to believe, and who he needs to believe in order to make this work, in order to make everything worth it, in order to break the cycle. And I think in a very weird... there's a lot of emotions with Neris at the moment. There's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of not being sure. But then there is that incredibly overriding force of calm and control and almost commanding. As Neris kneels over Alton's body, holds out his hands to either side of him, and says, "We will endure this, but not here. Everyone to me, now." And he's going to try and hold an action and do something that he's been toying with for a while. He's been toying with the idea of, but he's nowhere near as powerful as what he believes he needs to be in order to cast this spell. But the energy, the magic of the ship around him is enough to sort of trigger this idea. And he's, with your permission, sir, I would like to hold an action, the trigger being everyone within 5 feet of Neris, to attempt a casting of a 7th level plane shift.
With some checks involved, because as you say, it is beyond what Neris is capable of, but nearing what he is capable of. But yes, so once we reach that trigger, you will be able to attempt it, even if the spell does not go off, because you do not have the 7th level spell slot to use. Trigger is lost if you are not able to hold it. Like if something breaks that concentration, you will lose both your 6th and your 5th. Do you have 1 or 2 5th level spell slots?
I have 2.
So you will lose your 6th level and 1 5th level spell slot. But sounds like that is your turn. Is what you're going to attempt to do. See what eventuates. Go on.
I think there's this moment that passes through 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 as this pain and this energy escapes him, sapping parts of this creature in front of him that he's attacking for the sake of attacking something, because he needs to fight something, to hurt something, to take part of the pain that he himself can feel and see and knows of himself. And it took so long, such an incredibly long time, for his mind to have shifted away from knowing the hurt and the torment and the sheer agony that was existing, knowing everything that he's done and everything that's been done to him. But he's there now, and everything that was lost is back, but in this body that can't contain it. And I think part of him wants to keep fighting, but most of him just slumps. And then he hears a voice. It's not a strong voice. It's not commanding like he is known or like he was known for, but there's power there. And if there's something that he recognizes, that he knows and understands, it's the sound of power and the sound of the people who wield it. I think he turns away and looks back at the man who, as 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 perplexed him, and as 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 would be dismissed by him, but knowing what he knows as both, his head tilts almost naturally before he thinks better of it, and he knows that this is his only chance to not be stuck, to not be here in this curse, in this body, and lost to everything. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 locks eyes with you, and I think you more than anyone else can see something is different, and the creature moves towards you less unnatural than it should be, but that feels almost wronger still. And you hear a voice in your head, "With you, Commander." And 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 stands over 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 and presses a hand down, this big bowing claw that almost dwarfs 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧's chest, as he uses all 60 points of his lay on hands.
Anything with the bonus action? Or is that gonna leave it at that? Because that's a hell of a turn. Alright, so Alton, you are conscious. You have 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧's hand has just restored energy to you. And Neris is in there kind of holding you in place almost, while also kind of bracing something. Bracing for something.
Oh, thank you so much, Eddie. And yeah, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 kind of comes to a start, just kind of coughing, but the necrotic, wasting kind of energy just mostly just fades away, and kind of looks up dazed and trying to look around the battlefield and be like, fuck, what did I miss? Is Neris just standing next to him?
Neris is leaning over the top of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, essentially his knee is on your hip.
Yes.
He needs to make contact and it's weird, but yeah.
That's fair. There's just Neris there, and then also just 𝗖𝗦𝗧. It's like, oh shit, thanks guys, that one hit me pretty hard. What's the plan? Do I shoot the thing? It's still up. Yes, great. And I guess he'll try to get up. Will you allow him to get up?
I think Neris will probably look down at you and say, please, I don't make it weird, but I need to touch you.
Why? What magic are you doing? I'm good now. I need to heal.
Going to be perfectly honest, and he's saying this a little bit quieter, I don't really know what sort of magic I'm using, but it will work and it will get us safely away. You just need to stay near me.
Encouraging. Great. All right then. Well, I'll do that standing if that's okay. And he'll kind of put his hand or arm on Neris's shoulder and then stand up, using Neris, and then just kind of leave his hand on his shoulder and assess the field. The creature's still going strong. I guess, what can he do? Well, he'll look down and he'll see his little force ballista, wheeled gun, and he'll give it a little nod, and it'll kind of lock eyes with the creature and make an attack. So, what is it to hit? Oh, I don't think that'll hit unless it's very good. I got an 8. Oh yeah, that's like a 15 to hit.
Actually, that is
Yeah, that's understandable.
what bounces off the Chronophage skeleton.
Understandable. And then I guess Alton will just kind of take one shot because he's only got, I don't know, for flavor, because he's only holding one pistol. He's like dazed and everything, still figuring out what to do. But I will try to do a dazing shot. So he's going to really try to take aim at, like, I don't know, a certain part of the brain or something, and just kind of really hope that this is going to affect it. So that is a 26 to hit.
6 will certainly hit.
Excellent. So that is 10 points of piercing damage. And then it's going to need to roll a saving throw.
What kind of save?
DC 17 Constitution saving throw.
Constitution, I rolled poorly, but it does have a really good con save, so that is 22.
No, that hits. That's fine.
All right. Okay, so that's your turn, is it?
Yes, he's just gonna wait to see what happens.
All right. Next is Fishman.
So who's in the room with us right now? Oh, in the hallway with us. Because there's Alton, Zexor, and Fishman, and Neris.
Pretty much everyone is in the corridor somewhere. It's just Janice and Loren are a little bit further behind, but almost there.
Fishman, or who he keeps getting called as, will take a look at Neris and say, "What you're about to do, will this save us?"
It absolutely will.
Fishman can recognize a spell being cast, and probably the only thing he can do to protect Neris is use a spell of his own. So could he please use protection from good and evil on him, knowing that this is a aberration, I think it was? This should apply to that. So it now has a disadvantage to hit Neris, and Neris can't be charmed or anything like that. But then can Fishman brace the door? I think that's the only thing he can do.
Yeah. All right. So next is Janice.
He continues to run down the hallway and then out onto the deck, I imagine.
Yeah. So towards where everyone's grouped together around Neris.
I suppose that's the direction that he gets to once he sees what everyone's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything you do in the meantime?
So
Because the creature would be essentially overhead at this point. Like, especially with a glaive, you could probably reach it if you were to try to.
Yeah, okay. I'll re-summarize, I guess, what I'm doing. All right. So Janice, having grabbed his glaive, runs the rest of the length along the hallway and skids out onto the deck towards where everyone has suddenly gathered. Loren not far away, everyone else for some reason standing in a circle. And he glances up as he sees this creature looming overhead. And almost while he's skidding, while he's charging towards where everyone else is, he's going to jab up with the glaive and attack. And that's hang on, let's do this. 26 to hit for the first one.
That certainly hits.
Yep, so that's 13 plus, hang on, sorry. 13 plus 2d6. Hang on. So 13 plus 13 slashing damage, 6 thunder damage, and then he's gonna hit again. Oh, and that one's only a 13. So then he tries to jab up again, but kind of his trajectory is wrenched out of the way as he's sort of still skidding across the deck, and he's trying to wrench his glaive out of this creature as well. As he skids across the deck and the sand and everything else that is accumulated there, and comes to stop where the rest of the group are. Like, what's the situation? I guess that's all he does.
Right.
Okay, so Loren sees everyone kind of congregating together, and she heard Neris say, like, everyone get to me, we need to go. She sees Janice, like, run past and strike this creature, and she just takes a moment. And if anyone were looking at her, you would see this moment where you'd almost think there's like a thought passing her mind of self-sacrifice. And then she shakes it off and just quietly to herself says, "Nah, you can't run from every consequence. And then I'm going to run to the group, kind of skid in next to everyone, and just look around and be like, all right, how about a bit of cover? And then she turns and is going to cast a wind wall directly in front of the creature so it can't look. Yeah, so a strong wind. Yeah, so she holds her hands out and like just the fabricated air in our gravity bubble begins to form this like huge towering wall that she's used once before to try and save Loomis. Well, it failed then, but she hopes it doesn't fail now. As this 15-foot high wall stands in front of the creature, blocking any of its path. And I need the creature to make a strength saving throw.
Rank. This is the one that's not proficient, but still has good ability check with. So that is an 18.
That just misses. It's a 19 DC. So it takes 13 points of bludgeoning damage. And any like loose bits of anything that had kind of stuck to this creature as we were fighting just get blown away. And she just kind of holds that and just looks at Neris and goes, do it, get us out now.
Speaking of another action, Neris, please, we have a couple of checks that we need to roll here. So first, roll me an Arcana check with the spell itself to see if it is successful.
Is anyone else sweating?
I'll tell you right now, I have a leg cramp in my right-hand side calf from stress bouncing my leg, so close enough.
I have two different DCs here. One is for kind of the baseline spell, and the other is for doing something a little bit extra. We'll see what you get before speaking too soon. Worth noting, I cannot recall what your portents are.
They are in the message that I've sent through.
Yeah.
It's about 3 messages up.
Yeah.
See, that's a good roll, but I don't know about it, so I'm going to use another charge on this divining orb that I've got as I've pulled this out, and I'm using that as a focus, and I will re-roll that. That's a 27.
7 is bang on the higher DC. So not only does the spell go off, you can choose if you like to take the ship with you without the creature. Now I'm assuming that's going to be a yes.
So the answer is definitely yes. Is that taking the group of people that Neris is connected to and the ship, or is it taking everything except the creature?
Everything that you would want to take, essentially. So,
You're not dead yet, Aldrin. We're going.
All right. So now, the next check I need you to make is a Constitution saving throw.
All right.
As you all begin to feel yourselves being ripped through the fabric of reality.
I think at this point, because Neris is so incredibly focused on making sure this works at whatever the cost, he's looked through a bunch of different futures and he's tried to choose one that is more favorable. We will use the higher of the 2 portents, and that will be a dirty 20 on the con save.
Okay, so...
I do actually get advantage, so I'll roll again, but that didn't work.
So, for a 20, you take 4 levels of exhaustion as the ship was ripped through the plains, and there's one more dice I need you to roll for me, and that's just a flat D20.
It's a 2.
It's 2. So as a jet black sparkling energy emanates along the ship, it's almost like a black light glowing from various different portions of the ship. The ship is dragged through the plains, and the amount of damage that is sustained, it begins from it into a free fall. And that is where we're going to leave it for this week and for this season.
Oh no!
Hey, Darby, my close, dear, beloved friend. get fucked. Absolutely fuck you,
Okay.
and you're brilliant.
Oh, wow. Thank you very
Goddess.
much, everyone, for following us. Please let us know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe. We hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I broke the ship.
And you're all level 13 now.
Yay!
All
Oh
right.
my god.
What the fuck is going on?
Neris, you don't get your level 7 spell slots at this juncture. You'll get it when you rest.
Hey, look, that makes sense.
So, for reference, 4 levels of exhaustion.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. That's not good.
Disadvantage.
Audacity, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Disadvantage on ability checks. Speed halved. Disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Hit point maximum halved. If you had rolled any lower, you would have also taken the maximum amount that I was going to give, which would have been 5, and also reducing your speed to 0.
Yo, if I don't sleep in 12 hours, I'd die.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
boy.
I'm like, my face is burning, like freaking out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to be as much of a challenge as it was, because I didn't account for the fact that you were going to spend half of that combat fighting each other.
Yeah.
So I basically messaged Mitch with this, like, if you absolutely need something, unless you've got something else in mind, if you feel like you need it, here's an option.
And I stored that in the back of my brain, and I was like, cool, maybe in like 3 or 4 rounds if it looks like we're all going down. And then one round we're like, oh, cool, we're dying.
I think the Lut was the only one who was like doing all right. Because he's on, because I've leveled up 109, but 96 hit points he was on. He was doing great. But the thing is, wasn't all there, wasn't doing okay, and also wasn't hard hitting.